Okay, just went live. So pull up YouTube, find the live stream, see what we'll be writing
How to make it area the spot faster.
I want to get directly there. Yeah, minus all that. Although you know what, leave it as it is for now, because you can at least destroy blocks. So right now you can destroy blocks. Only thing this does is add the block string code. Copy this from someone during last time, but you're good. You're in a good place to start. All right, let's begin. So, right here in the front of Unreal, right off the bat, I want you to find your first-person character and open the blueprint for the first-person character. We haven't done any code on the first-person character yet. Today we're going to do that. So find your first-person character, open the blueprint. So I'm finding him, edit blueprint, open blueprint editor. It's too loud? Okay, thanks for letting me know. I'll turn that down. Is that better? How's the music now? Is that better? I assume it is. Yes, open blueprint editor. Yeah. First person character, yep. So everybody should be on your blueprint now of your first person character. And I want you to go to the event graph. And on the event graph, you're going to see all of this code here. This code is all pre-written for our first person character. So this stuff handles different things like moving around, controller support. Hey guys. So I want you to scroll down to an area called spawn projectile. This is the code for your bullet, for your gun working. Okay. So it's called spawn projectile, and it says all this crazy stuff going on. And this is how you're able to shoot, right? All the stuff going on here. And the reason I want you to take a look at it is we're going to end up copying and pasting a lot of this code to use in the code we're going to write today. And the reason is because it's actually shooting a gun, shooting the bullet, having the bullet come out is very similar to what we want to do with placing a block down, right? We want to spawn an object in front of us, and we want to appear in the world. You know, the gun is basically doing that already. So we're going to take the code from that and use it for placing our block down. So I want you to navigate and just hang out around this spawn projectile code, but go just beneath it where we'll have some room to write our own custom code. And once you've got that room, I want you to right-click and type in custom event, and you're going to choose add custom event.
So, right click. Using motion controllers?
No. You're just going to the very bottom beneath spawn projectile.
Basically right there, type below and make a custom event.
Yep. Right-click, add custom event. And you're going to name this event place block. Place block. We already have our mining in place. We want to do place block. So this code's going to be whenever the player wants to place a block. So name it place block. Okay? That's our custom event. Right-click, add custom event.
No.
Yeah, looks right. Yeah, you're right. All right. Next, we're going to copy something from the projectile code. So go ahead and move up a little bit. And on this spawn projectile code, I want you to go towards the end of it. And there's something called spawn actor first person projectile. Select it, copy it. It's Command C. And then once you've selected and copied spawn actor, first person projectile, go back to your custom event that we just wrote and paste it.
One projectile.
Yep.
Everything past that.
What?
Everything or just one projectile.
You just want to copy that one node, spawn actor, first person projectile. Did everybody sign attendance? We're all good? Okay. So, what I want you to do though is where it says spawn first person projectile, there's an option here that says class, right? And this is what we choose to spawn. Right now it's spawning the first person projectile. That's the name of our bullet. Well, we don't want to spawn the bullet. We want to spawn our block. So click that drop down right under class and change it to our BP block, the blueprint we made. So look up BP block. So now it's going to spawn the block. You can go ahead and connect this, connect the front of place block into your spawn. Okay. We don't want to be playing in the editor right now. We want to stay strictly on the blueprints because this is going to be a process. You don't want to get left behind it, okay? So you've connected these two now. What I want you to do is drag spawn actor to the right because we're going to need some room. We're going to need some room because we're going to put code in between the start of this custom event and finally when we spawn it. Specifically, what we need to do is we need to tell Unreal where to spawn it. For example, if I hit compile right now, I'm getting an error. And the error is saying, hey, we don't know where to spawn the block. It's a big world out there. Where do you want the block to be placed? And that is going to happen in our transform settings. Transform is just one of those words, right? Programmer word, Unreal Engine word, for basically it's the collection of all the information that makes an object located in a certain place in your world. It's like this. The transform is your location, rotation, and size, scale. Right? So we just want to do that. I can tell you right off the bat, though, we don't have to do anything for rotation. We don't do anything for scale. Because in Minecraft, the blocks can't be rotated. They always are the same direction facing. And they also they don't change size. Every block in Minecraft is exactly the same size. So all we got to do is write some code in here that's going to say, okay, what location do you want to put that at? And thankfully, most of it's already written because we're going to copy about 7 or 8 nodes right now from our projectile, and then we'll modify it. So I want you to go up to the spawn projectile area, and this is the part I really want you to pay attention so you can copy the right stuff. What we're going to do is we're going to copy basically everything from this get world rotation first person camera over to make transform. And we're not going to go above make transform. So, and we're going to get all this. So I'm going to highlight that now. So now I've got it highlighted.
Over there.
This is what we're copying. Yeah, it's, let's see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 individual nodes. We're all copying them at once. So you drag a box over it. So from get world rotation to make transform. And no higher. Don't go higher than make transform. Include all that. Just hit Command C to copy. Once you've done that, go down and we're going to paste that code so that it kind of goes under and in between, and I might move my spawn over a little bit, just like that. So you've pasted it into your custom event. And what I want you to do is I want you to plug in the end of the code you just pasted, make transform. See it says return value. It's like the color orange. And then our spawn transform is also the color orange. It's because they're both transform types. They're both transform variables, right? So plug in return value into spawn transform. Cool. So I told you a second ago, we don't actually need rotation. Blocks don't rotate. In fact, if you're placing blocks in Minecraft and they're rotating, that's bad because they're not going to snap together the right way. So what we want to do is we want to disconnect this part where the wire saying rotation goes into make transform. And there's two ways to disconnect a wire in Unreal. One way is just if you hover over that circle where the wire is connecting, right-click, and then hit break links. You do that. My way of doing it, and I discovered this much later to using Unreal, is to actually just hold the Alt key and then click, and also break it. It's a little faster. Yeah, holding Alt and then you click, and also break a wire. So I'll do that again. What you want to do is you have to put your mouse over wherever the wire's ending, wherever it's going to. So where that blue circle that says rotation is, I put my mouse over it. And then I either hold Alt and click, that'll break it, or I can just right click on it as well and do break links. Break link. But if Alt click's not working, just right click. Alright, so anyway, your rotation now is 0, 0, 0. Perfect. That's fine. So rotation is not going to be affected when we place a block down. Scale is also set to 1, 1, 1. Perfect. We don't mess with the size of the object, so it's staying the way it is. Now you've got something going into location. And so let's go back over here. Let's go to the left and take a look at this location code that that's part of what we pasted. Specifically, I want to look at this thing called gun offset. It's a variable. So click on gun offset. When you click on gun offset, in the details on the right, you can see what its default value is. And it's x, y, z, right? Because it's a location, it's a vector. Vector is a type of number that has 3 numbers in it, x, y, z. And the gun offset says 100, 0, negative 10. What's going on here is it's offsetting where you spawn the object in the game. Why? Well, if you spawn something at 0, 0, 0, it's going to be in the center of whatever you spawned it from. So you would if you leave it just 0, 0, 0 as the location, your block's always going to spawn in the center of your character. No good. So what's happening with the gun code, what they're doing is to not have the bullet spawn right here, is they are having it spawn 100 units in front of the player and 10 units down. That's all that is. Now, this gun offset, we don't want exactly what they're doing, but we also don't want to mess up our gun code. So go ahead and delete that gun offset variable. So just click on it, right, hit delete key. Cool.
Get rid of it basically.
Yeah, just getting rid of it. We're just not going to use the. Don't delete the variable from like the actual variable section. Don't do that. We want to just delete it off of our code that we have right here, because we want it to work on our gun code, but not for our placing or block code. So anyway, once you've deleted it, actually now you have x, y, z in this rotate vector, and you can specify it there. And for that, I want you to put 100 in the x number there. Type in 100. Z we're going to leave alone because that would mess up our grid snapping. Everything. We want everything to be perfect with that. But this is going to spawn the block 100 units in front of our player. Okay. Good. All right, so that's that. Let's move over and take a look back at make transform. Make transform. And what I want to do is we need to snap our blocks to a grid. Remember, Minecraft, there's no in-between blocks. They're always perfectly next to each other. They never overlap, and there's never a seam in between. They're always perfectly next to each other. Now, we already set that up in our level editor by just turning our grid on to 100. However, when the player's playing, that grid doesn't exist. So we need to make sure that whenever he places a block, that block hops over to whatever the nearest 100 units is. So that everything is perfectly in sync. And so what we're going to do is let's move make transform over, because we're going to put some code in between the plus calculation and our make transform. So move make transform. You might have to move your spawn as well over to the right a little bit. Okay. And that's probably good. You don't have to make a bunch of room. So there should be a little space between your plus calculation and then your make transform. Now let's break the wire coming off of our plus calculation. Break that wire.
So break the make transform.
Yeah. What's coming off of the output of our plus node, just break that wire. So there shouldn't be a wire now from plus to make transform.
Basically, leave space between them.
Yeah, leave space. So what we want to do now is, remember I talked a little bit about what it's a vector, it's x, y, z, three numbers. Some of you might be like thinking, wait a second, you said a vector was a color when we did our material lesson. Well, that is true. It's true as well because a vector is three numbers. Any color on your computer is represented by a color for red, a color for green, a color for blue, RGB, right? And that can encompass all the possible colors on your computer screen. So they are vectors. The vectors are just a number with three numbers. That's all it is. And that's what this is. It's our location. And what we want to do is we want to break this out into its three numbers. So we can set, hey, each number, you need to be on this grid. Well, how do we do that? It's actually very simple. Take your mouse, hover over the circle where you broke the wire on your plus icon. Right-click on that circle and hit Split Struct Pin. Right-click on the circle, hit Split Struct Pin, and you get X, Y, Z. Now you can see each number individually. That's useful because sometimes you only want to do something to the height of something. You just want to do something to the Z value, things like that. So now it's broken up. So you can now drag off of each of these X, Y, and Z. Yeah. So to get X, Y, Z, on that plus thing, the yellow circle on the right, right-click on the circle and hit Split Struct Pin. Well, you got to make sure you're right-clicking on the circle exactly. If you're right-clicking just on the node, it's not going to work.
Node action?
So I want you to drag off of X now. Drag off the X number. And type in the word snap. Snap to grid. Choose snap to grid. Right, now X is going into location. And then there's this thing that says grid size. I want you to change it to 100. So you drag it off X, you looked up snap to grid, you chose that node. Make sure where it says grid size is at 100. Okay. And then just copy and paste that and do that for the last two numbers. Do that for Y and Z as well. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to kind of stack them like this. So I sort of got them stacked. Right. Yeah, 100 is going to be the grid size for all three. Yep, for all of them. X, Y, and Z. And then, like I said, I like to stack them. You should do that too. So once you've done that, we just got to get them into our location. Well, hold up. Location is a vector, and these are all floats because it's been broken up. How do we recombine these? What's that? Convert? Yeah. So that was, I thought about doing that with the first class. And you can. So what Andrew is saying is, and don't do this though. We're gonna do a simpler way for this context. But you could drag off and you could type in convert, and you could go to vector, and it's gonna take. Hey guys. Hey. Hi. Hi guys. Hi Jose. Nice to meet you. I'm Charles.
Hi, you was here yesterday, no?
No, we're not yesterday.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Hi. Yeah, fine, available to take Okay, yeah, all right. So guys, we're not going to do the two vector thing. It's actually really simple. So listen up. What I'm going to have you do is, see where it says make transform and it says location? Let's just split the location struct and then we'll plug X and X and Y to Y and Z to Z. So right click on the location circle. and then hit split struct pin. And then it says location X, location Y, location Z, right? Then just plug your X into your X,
Crazy split that.
your Y into your Y, your Z into your Z.
X to X, Y to Y, Z to Z.
Yep.
Easy peasy. And just set them all to 100 and the stack the grid.
Yeah, and all of them are 100 in the snap to grid, okay? All right. So if you've done all that, let's move a little bit forward to the spawn actor node. And there's just one thing I want to change on the spawn actor. It says collision, it says try to adjust location, don't spawn if still colliding. We don't want that because we want to make sure it spawns every time. So just click, the always collide option. It says always spawn, ignore collisions. So you want to choose the option that says always spawn, ignore collisions. Okay. We're almost done. Almost out of the woods. So we've made this custom event. We just coded it, right? But nothing triggers it, right? We need to make some way of the player saying, hey, I want to put a block down, and then firing this code. So you've done all this before when we turned off the flashlight, right? Let's just use a keyboard event to call this custom event called place block, right? So find an empty area graph. I'm just going to go over towards the front of my place block function of our event. I just right click and type in we'll do E key for now. Type in E space key. Choose the E key. Okay. And then, Okay. All right. Just do your best to follow along, follow the video. Yeah. Yeah. Well, I just type in E, and then I just type in E space key, and then the word key. All you want is you just want the thing in keyboard events. Okay? It looks like the letter E. It is the letter E. I'll do that one more time, guys. So I right click, I type in E. I just want under keyboard events something called, maybe type in E and then keyboard. That would help. So with the E key. Guys, it's the same thing when we did F for flashlight in our horror tutorial. Just letter E, yeah. Okay, moving on, guys. Drag off of the pressed part of the E key and type in the name place block, the name of our custom event. Type in place block or whatever you named your custom event. I named my event place block, so type it in. When you drag off a press, it'll show up. Click it. And basically what you're doing is saying, hey, whenever the player presses E, I want you to do my custom event called place block. All right, there's only one more thing we got to do, and it's not even code related. Your character doesn't jump very high, and since you're replacing blocks, you want to make it so that when you place the block down, you can jump and then place another block and then jump. So you can kind of stack up. Height? Yeah, we're going to increase his jump height. So to do that, real simple. Over here on the left on character, you want to click character movement, the components. And this, by the way, has all the settings for your character's movement, his speed, gravity, like everything. So you want to find jump Z velocity and change it to 600. It's probably at 420 for you guys. You want to change it to 600.
So event graph and character movement.
You don't have to do anything on the event graph. You're just clicking character movement on the left here in the components. And then jump Z velocity, change 600. Okay. Now this is going to make it so you can jump high enough to jump over blocks. All right, I see some people doing it. If you did everything right, you're confident you did it, hit play, and you should be able to spawn blocks in the world by hitting E. Right here, C40.
That it, sister?
Yeah, I thought about that. So right click on location, yeah. Plug X into X, negative. So everything snap, snap the grid, and then you're gonna choose the correct one. And you can set the ground truth. All you do is yeah, like that. Nice.
Yeah, I mean, although they're awkwardly floating though. Mr. Torres, are you in the restroom? You can make.
You want it to feel like a gravel kind of look idea? Yeah, I can figure out set.
I deleted every block, so that way I can have First of all, I don't sound myself, but I'm just doing
You're doing this code on your first PC here. So you want to check that you're overlapping that block. What's overlapping, right? So I don't think you can actually you can't send you don't that shouldn't be working for trigger box unless you have a level blueprint. Only level blueprint goes by trigger box. Go back to that. Okay, so click asset active, migrate. Yeah, and then hit OK. And then you want to find the content folder of that project. So go ahead and hit
Okay. No. Oh yeah.
and then you're going to click on the content. You got it. So the challenge, if you've done all this, is today I want you guys to make lava material, make a lava block, right? And make a wood block if you haven't already.
How do you build multiple blocks at once? Let's take a look.
Oh, never mind.
How you make the
Yes, that on
What do you want to delete? You want to do all of it?
every time
What you're going to do is just type in a block that was already started. So now you have one control arrow. That's all. So,
Take on the addition.
now hold on. It looks like it's
You know why I let her She looks like that. You know why I let her
just to make sure that we're not creating a block. That way, if you're searching a block. Now we'll compile fast.
Damn, June. Huevos. Huevos. Very good. Thank you. It's drinking.
Yeah, I got one.
Violetta. Violetta. Did you say your favorite rapper went to jail? Did you say your favorite rapper went to jail? Did you say so?
I'm not even up. Well, I'm not gonna be like, oh,
Yo, where's Vita?
no, it's a smart thing. Well, I am a full-time game designer, and that's how I got it. Yeah. Oh, okay. Mission real.
Oh, hold on. Hold on. You got your laptop. You need to get back on stage. Stay back.
So it seems the bouncing for the projectile. You're counting it on
Yeah. So that's because you change settings. So what I want you to do is go to our projectile part. Here's all those settings you change. So if you want it to be exactly kind of how it was when you started, see this little yellow thing? You click it, it's going to reset it back to the first way. Click those and then find any other ones like that. You should get better. But no memory.
Too close. Stick it out.
I am stuck in this room. How am I stuck out?
Every time I see someone do that, Jesus Christ. That's only the first time.
I'm trying to figure out.
Oh, you can and they can't go down if you keep it up. So basically, oh.
How can I get to this? Hold on. I'll do this.
That's why.
See? I'm right here. It puts on top of the build everything else.
That would be my next step.
Oh, this is getting
Last it's high school.
Great.
Oh, because
So there is no fire security.
You wanna watch Mimi?
Oh yeah, you get him. Oh, they're
I pitched it to the summer course, and then that's like charge for it.
Well, yeah, I wanted to find even
Things like that. Longer term.
That's so slow.
The library has like $100 million budget.
I know.
I would win.
I know, it's kind of like, if I can just say
I realized I just want a game break this glitch.
No, yeah, no, it's like people always say pro esports. I know. Yeah, okay. The reason I make the sport possible. Right. Sort of, yeah, right. So give us talk and there. Alright. Man, know a little. Like, I'm not your expert. So I really delved it in. I look at it all the time in the sense of like, you could say esports is generally. I say non-traditional people are like, Fortnite, in a sense. Like this stuff, almost we're doing here. This is visual scripting. This is being compiled in C++ right now, right? C++ it's compiled into whatever below that, and then assembly language, etc. This is I would convince the future of programming and most major applications because it's so ridiculously fast and easy, but it's equally as powerful. So all of this is being as you're writing things, access to every function, it's writing source code in the background. So you can iterate in the future faster than anybody else using any other thing. And I think you'll see this be adopted by other industries. That's the exact development. No, but well, Unreal, yeah, Unreal a little bit because Unreal started to use film and stuff. Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah, because this is the best render. But it's specifically this system of coding I think can get adopted into other applications. Because it's once you see this and you see typing words, that's which I've done. I've experienced that. It's just so arcane. It's like it's carving something like tablet on paper. So that's something that I see. I think it's sort of a sleeping giant. I'm talking about visual scripting in general. I mean, specific. But I should clarify, it's fully integrated visual scripting. Because you see visual scripting in like the robotics classes, but it's more like an education tool. Right? This is the first program, to my knowledge, to have been built from the ground up with the absolute intention and execution on the intention that no stone will be unturned. It's not like an engine where you tackle all the development with this, but then you have to kind of yeah, I've never typed alongside oh, it's great. It's like, go to the Unity meetups and stuff, and, I've seen people working on the same project. And I like to just be like, oh yeah, this is not good, right? It's my secret weapon. Fully integrated. It's called Blueprints. Yeah, Blueprints. So Blueprints is the best terminology, but there's no other program that has it fully integrated.
So when we're talking about creating this and shaping both industries outside of gaming, we're talking about just the way that Unreal
The philosophy behind it. Not necessarily. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why. I started using this.
Why?
Not fully.
Yes. And robots like you just talked about. Because they could save that
You get 1,500 lines of code in this little block right here.
and look how many blocks there are.
Oh yeah, this is a small, but we should see my code.
It's like a
Yeah, it is. And you can kind of see how it's going here. So it flows from left to right. And white around the logic flows. This is called input action fire. This is for spawning the bullet. Where one player hits the right. So that's an input action fire. And you can sense whether it's released or pressed. So when we press it, we're going to play this animation montage. It's an asset in the content browser. And you can set things like the play rate. It's a standard. Fast, 2 halves fast, 0.5. And then continuing on, you can spawn actions. So this is spawning something in the world. Introducing a new object. What's that object? It goes right here. Whatever it is you want to spawn, playing sounds to spawn it. And all this happens right here. Where is it located? Where is it located? Same with rotation, camera, right? That getting access to the camera is as easy as dragging. Dragging that onto the graph and access all the parts in it. So maybe you want to do post processing. It's really no, post processing is like all kinds of settings that have to do with what filter. It's sort of like what happens. So I have all these different options here. Like I can change the white balance, the scene tint, I can put some sort of filter on it. If you play a game, you see like, it's raining and the rain starts on the camera lens. Process, lens flares, scene color. Yeah, it's definitely one of those secrets of making great graphics and stuff. For example, so imagine if you're doing a code and you want to change something in post processing. The amount of time spent here that could be spent otherwise in development. It's a great, impediment to development. Whereas you can just select it and then start setting it.
You should pick like the ground. And then like I can pick like one. I'm trying to give you like what?
Yeah, you can do any app in Unreal. Yeah. Including non-gaming app, I should have mentioned that. So you might see it become a major app. What's block setting? So, is it 12:15? Okay, so I should go. Okay,
Wait, no.
Give you a spiel on how the game works. it's interesting enough, and if it sucks or you're not interested, I'd rather but I haven't found anything that I feel like very much.
Yes, in general up front, I usually don't like. I have so much projects already that that I won't usually take something on the medium term, as a commitment or collaboration. But I could definitely start you out. Okay, you want to do this, you want to do this, you want to do this. And, yeah, I think that.
Maybe change the amount of people you have on your job.
They are. I went to pitch this to like two designers, and they wanted to continue to collaborate. And one of them was in they had too much on there.
Seen your highlights?
Oh, God. I hate internet is slow. And I don't think it's but they're getting to the point where I feel like that. I have like ride share platform. They have I'm actually happy with stuff like that.
This one. After close, this one you just did, you have more like.
Sounds it sucks.
The only thing is I might not be interested in it, but then I'm not the judge. I have no.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Also, I was saying up front that even if very intriguing, I get lost in it.
Take time to develop the game, in the game. But the project itself, fully expanded. It's just how you creators share
Sounds very original.
Only seen you once.
trying to figure out how to make it myself. I just wanted to be
All right. What do you got? So I want to answer any questions. So let me so do you need questions off of that for me? I'll go over that. Or do you want me to show you? Do you have any questions? Okay, well let me say, first thing you should try, one thing I like to do when I develop is I like a big window. So I'll take this and I'll drag this to there next to that die. So I don't know if you can do anything if you need like that. Sometimes you can use it like this, and that's good too. And this all looks good. So you're following what I'm doing. Flop. Good. Okay, so I'll do the tutorial, but it'll be faster than this doing it. So go ahead and now plug in this stuff material in there. Water.
That's you.
If you type in the word water on the keyboard. And for water, we want to let's make the water so that you can walk through it, so you fall through it, like the actual water. So to do that, I want you to drag out static mesh. Drag it right here. Right in this part. Yeah. Now drag off the static mesh. Go and type in set collision. Yeah, so set collision enabled, choose that one. And see how it says no collision? That's good. That's what we want. So go ahead and plug that into the water channel. Cool. So now what we're saying is, hey, it's got water, make it look like water, and then turn off the collision. And the last thing I want you to do is see where it says type. So that's our variable. What we want to do is we want to click this eyeball. So we click it over there on the eye. Now you can compile. What's that? The front of both. Yeah. And now, now it's like, look over here. Your variable is here. And now you can change it. So change it. Watch now. Oh. Now you can change it to water, dirt, all. Next thing I want you to do is let's change our grid versus 10, change it to 100. What that means is now when try to move these blocks, he's going to move exactly a full block away, just like in real Minecraft. It won't overlap and it won't be gaps. Okay, so what I want to do is let's say my storage blocks. So put one block here, and what I want to do is click on the static mesh, right? That's our cube. And the details panel right here, scroll to the bottom. And these are all these events here. So these are events that the PC can do or can have done to it. And the one we want to do is we want to do on event. So this event fires whenever it happens, whenever it gets hit by something. The first thing I want to do is I want to check the location. I want to make sure that the bullet person is done. To do that, drag off this thing from other actor. Oh, I'm sorry. Don't do that. Type in wiggle at. Type in pass to projectile. Pass to first person projectile. So what all it's saying is, hey, did the block get hit by something? If it got hit, make sure it's the bullet, which is that's the name of our bullet. And then what do we want to do after that? Well, we want to destroy the block. So the next thing I want you to do is drag off to here. No, not pass it over the top. Very top. And then let go and type and that's it. So here's the smart self. That's the self. Well, what self is whenever it's running the code until it blocks itself. Perfect. You want the block itself to be destroyed when it is hit. Right? So we're saying when it's hit, make sure it's the bullet that hits it. If that's true, destroy it. It's like yeah. Now it's destroying every time you hit it. It's getting destroyed. The next step that I would do for you is I would go into the map. I would bring more blocks into our world, change some to grass, change some to stone, make a couple ponds and lakes of water. And then once you're really happy with the way it looks, go back into your block and go back into that list. And I want you to make a wood block and a lava. Try and do that. And it probably won't time to do that today. You can start in 10 minutes. But think about that next time when you're on the can you make a wood block and can you make a lava block? Can you make a wood block? There's actually a really good material for these blocks. It's called bush. It comes from project.
Oh man, what am I doing?
So I hope that helps. I'll do that since you said you're really interested. Clearly you're very good at it. So the work you call it that lesson really good. So, basically the same level as what you're doing.
So.
12:15.
All we get all these water get rocks.
Anybody in my class I can answer questions for?
What is that? Oh, it's you?
It's a gaming Oh, you get to do like
Why did you jump?
Okay, you bet. Need a pass? Hey. All right, let's slide. One time.
You know what that's what he does?
Oh my god.
I wanted to look at that.
Oh, dude, it's...
Oh.
What?
Oh boy. That's a Oh, yeah.
Andrew is a Minecraft axe. He can make an axe.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh! Wait, Michael?
You're popular now. You're welcome.
Oh god, Andrew. I don't know about you, but yours.
You can disable that loading.
Yeah, that's how I did it.
Andrew. You're god in this
So
class.
how do we make materials?
I'm not kidding. It's a good thing that I worked out with you.
Why